tell you I love you. And God, I thank you for everything you've done. Lord, there's so many things that you've done for me. Blessings unconditional, they seem to overtake me. Your hand of mercy proving faithful and true. Jesus, how can I express my thanks to you for your grace and kindness, oh, agent of days. I'll give you thanks, oh Lord, now and always. Oh, I just want to say thank you for your love. Thank you. Thank you for the blood. Thanks to you for all of the times that you brought me through. Lord, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for your grace. Thank you, Lord, for keeping me safe. Thanks to you that I can share the good news of a Savior, to give someone a reason just to tell you thanks. Oh Lord, yeah. Thank you, Lord. Lord, it's not enough to give a simple praise to the one who has blessed me in so many ways. Nothing I can say or do could really show my gratitude to you, Lord. One God, one love, one faith. To you I give you praise. Three blessed Trinity, you mean so much to me. You showered me with love, even when I turned away. Lord, I could never repay you, so I'll just say thank you for your love. Thank you for the blood. Thanks to you for all of the times that you brought me through. I just want to say thank you. Thank you for your grace. Thank you, Lord, for keeping me safe. Thanks to you that I can share the good news of a Savior, to give someone a reason just to tell you for your love. Lord, I thank you for the blood. Thanks to you for all of the times that you brought me through. Lord, I thank you for your grace. Lord, for keeping me safe. And I can share the good news of a Savior, give someone a reason just to tell you
All right. Truly, the real you loves you because the real you is
Love.
his love.
I'm hot.
You're hot? I'm hot too.
You said it was cool up here.
Well, good evening and welcome everyone, each and every one, to tonight's episode, episode 12, season 3 of Truly Live with your co hosts, Oliver
Yolanda.
and we're so delighted that you are here with us tonight, or maybe you might be watching the replay. But either way, we are delighted that you decided to call timeout from all of the hustle and bustle, timeout for all of the information dump, right?
Okay.
Timeout from all of the so-called stresses, right? And decided uh, to turn away, right, from that which pretty much occupies our time and our energy and our mental focus to come to this safe space that we have provided for you and that we provide each and every third, second, and fourth Thursday of the month, where we come and just get into what we think is relevant topics, relevant information that hopefully will lead to some level of growth or transformation, right? That will empower you to live your best life, or at least to become a better navigator,
Oh, wow.
right, of
Okay.
life. Because, life is what it is. On this journey, there are just certain things that we are going to be confronted with on the journey,
There's
right?
certain things that we're going to encounter.
We're going to encounter.
Yes,
I mean, it's
yes.
just part of the. It's like when you leave, when we leave our home and we head up to the local supermarket or wherever we're going. If I'm headed up to the local gym or whatever, to the local restaurant, you know, we know we're going to get to the restaurant, but we don't know exactly what we may encounter en route, right? So, these sessions, these episodes of Truly Live, which is one of our main communication piece where we share in communities which we serve, is designed to help you to become a better navigator of your life, right? We can't change certain situations and certain circumstances or conditions that we encounter or certain challenges that we may encounter, but we can certainly become better pilots,
Yes.
right? Better pilots, more peaceful pilots, more efficient pilots, right? More happier, joyful pilots.
That's right.
Yeah.
Where we're not distracted so easily by all the things.
Right.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And so we just invite you to sit back and relax. And I think most of all, what we provide in this space, and this is a safe space, is that we share a whole lot of love. Because if you're living in the real time 2024 that I experienced, Yolanda experienced, then what we need more than anything is more love, right? And that word love is all encompassing. And so, it covers everything that you could ever require to become a better navigator.
Everything.
It covers everything that you could ever require to be your better self. It covers every single solitary thing that you can imagine that you will require to discover, to define, and to design, and to live what we call a life of freedom, right?
Yes.
And so, thank you for pulling up on us tonight. and let's have this conversation. And we invite you to be a part of the conversation tonight, because this is a we invite you to share in the conversation, because we're on these platforms, live platforms. You will have to use the comment field, right?
And if they do, I would not be able to see.
And if you did, Yolanda wouldn't be able to see your comments
because
up until now. But
up
now I just
until
gave her
now.
comment stream.
There you
So
go.
we're out here in these digital streets, in Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, right? Couple YouTube channels, couple Facebook channels, but wherever you are viewing in from, wherever you're streaming from, just feel free to engage with us. First of all, by letting us know that you're here. And also we invite you to like and share, right? And we invite you to subscribe, right? If you're on our YouTube channel, we invite you to subscribe to our channel. That way you will be notified anytime that we go live, right? If this is of value to you. Wow. How did I do?
Oh, you got
Did I
through
leave
it.
anything out?
No, you did not.
I got through it, right?
No, you got through that.
All right. So
So we're going to say hi to our hello to our patrons.
yes.
And we're going to do a couple of special shout outs. We always shout out Mama Blue, Oliver's mom,
Yes.
my mom, because she is such a steadfast,
Faithful
faithful
supporter, yes.
And she's always on. So we're saying hi, Mama Blue.
Hello, Mother.
That's Catherine Blue.
We send you much digital love.
Oh my goodness.
And we'll see you very soon.
We'll see you soon. And then we're going to shout out my dad.
Dewey.
His name is Dewey. They call him Ben.
Yes.
But his grandfather name is Papa. So we've been calling him Papa ever since we had children.
I've been calling him Papa ever since I've known him.
Well, you know you call him Mr. Love.
I call him Mr. Love. Hey, Brother Love.
But anyway, I'm saying hi to my dad. I know he is not watching because that's not what he does. However, because we are one and we're united, I know that he is with us. And so I say hi to him.
Well, he gets you live and in color just about every day.
Almost, yeah.
Right. So this is his opportunity to take a break.
Okay. Well, so how about we ended up spending the day together, which was not planned.
Yeah, you and I.
Yeah,
which has been kind of unusual here on Thursday because of your schedule and your responsibility and the things that happens on Thursday where you are concerned. Concerning your caretaking for your dad. So, so we even had to have opportunity to have lunch together.
Only because it was pouring down, raining. So
we had lunch together. We got a new cut together. I convinced her that my barber would be a good asset for her, and so she's gotten her second cut from my barber. So now we go to the barber shop together. Isn't that nice?
Well, he got a little excited and he got really close.
Well, it's called pruning, right?
Oh boy, right? He did some skinning, but that's okay.
But it's called pruning.
It's okay, pruning.
Why? Because when we cut back, we're promoting growth, right? Healthy growth. And so, shout out to my cousin and my barber, Ronald. Yes. But boy, I really enjoyed lunch today.
Yeah, it was nice to hang out.
Yeah, nice to hang out,
even though it wasn't planned.
Yes,
I got drenched because
if
you all saw his post, he was like, "Oh,
I didn't post it.
Oh, you did?
No, I didn't post it.
I'm so glad." He said, "Oh, this is the rain I've been looking for a month. It was just pouring down." He says, "But I don't want to get wet. So my wife is going to go get the car to come and pick me up." And I was like, so I did. I went right on to the car. I was drenched and you weren't.
Yeah. Thank you, honey. I appreciate that.
Oh my. See, I take very good care of you.
I don't take water very well outside of the shower.
I take very good care of you.
You take very good care
always.
of me. Always.
That's right.
Yes.
Always.
So if you're here for the first time and if you are wondering who are these two gorgeous, beautiful people? Then you don't have to wonder anymore.
Don't have to wonder anymore.
We are Oliver and Yolanda, and we show up in the world personally as soon to be 34-year marriage and business partners.
Woohoo!
We also show up in the world as what we call mindset and vision coaches, right? We are mindset coaches, and we focus on vision clarity,
Yes, we do.
right? That's what we do professionally, and we are the co-founders of Truly OB, which is a personal and professional personal development company, right? Where we help. And let me put that up while I'm saying that. This might help out. Let's see if I can get there.
Hello, Vanessa Diggs. It's great to have you on with us. That's one of our RAM alumni.
Vanessa Diggs.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, this is what we do. We, as mindset coaches that focus on vision clarity, we help career professionals, and we consider everybody a career professional. If you're in this life, if you're in this world, you are doing something where you're exchanging your gifts, your talents, your efforts, right, your resources, and your time, right?
And everyone has expertise
And everyone has
at
expertise.
something.
So we help humanity, just put it to you that way. Let's make it general, to get unstuck and create clear vision for their personal and professional life. So this is how we show up professionally. And Yolanda and I have always had passion, right, about personal development. I mean, and it's always been a part of our journey.
Yes.
And because we realized that we are on this never-ending journey of expanding and evolution to where we're always growing, right? We're always growing.
Yes.
We're always growing. We're always getting results, right? And so we found out early in our partnership that since we're going to get results and since we're going to be growing, then we might as well be intentional about it, right? And grow in the right direction and grow towards the results that we desire.
And that's the right direction. The right direction is growing in the direction that you desire to
That
go.
you
that's
desire.
That's the right
Right.
direction.
Right. Because, our foundation is based upon the fact that that all humanity gets to discover for themselves and uncover for themselves what it is and how they choose to use their time and their energy and their resources to express who they are in the world. So not only do we get to discover what that is, but we also get to decide for that and to design it, define what that looks like, right?
Decide.
And then decide,
define, and design.
And then design it, right, with intention, because we are creative beings, and we have the ability to create the future that we desire or that is calling us. And we discovered early that we can be intentional about it.
Mhm.
And like we said earlier, all of us are getting results every day. I mean, if you
Every
live
day.
another week, you're going to get results for that week. If you live another month or another year, if you live 12 more months, at the end of that 12 months, you're going to have results. So when we discovered that we can live, right, by design and not by default, right? Meaning we can have a purpose, we can have a desire, we can have a goal, and we can design that and structure that in such a way
We can be intentional,
and be intentional,
purposeful. Yes.
then at some point we'll be living into the dreams and the goals and the aspirations that we have set for ourselves. That's why we're sitting here talking to you tonight, because this is by design. We design to be here talking to you. We had a discovery about ourselves that we wanted to show up as coaches and mentors, right?
Yes.
Because we have a passion about helping others to get unstuck. Because we know about being stuck, right?
Yes, we do.
We know about being stuck. And so we're here to help as many as we can. What is the saying? How did the saying go out of the Course in Miracles?
The greatest good to the greatest number.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Could you share it again so the people can hear you?
We desire to share the greatest good to the greatest number.
Right. In other words, we want our life to count. We want our life to have impact, because we discovered also that our life has deep meaning and good purpose, and not only our life, but every human being.
That's right.
Right. And there was a time that I lived without purpose. There was a time that I lived, and when you live without purpose or vision, as we talked about in our last series, by the way, great series on the importance of vision, right? And living by vision versus living transactionally or by default. Because we discovered that when we don't have vision, then we live kind of aimlessly. We also said that we live without direction,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that means that any wind can blow us any direction because we have no focus. But when you have vision, when you have an insight into who you are, when you have an insight into all of the resources and all of the good in life that's available to all of us equally. And when you learn how to tap into those resources and to be intentional, again, we love to use that word. You can live by attention or purpose, or we live by default. When we are intentional about what we're doing, then by the law of love, we can't help but have some version of what we desire or something better still,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so this is who we are, and we thank you if you're here for the first time for listening in on with us tonight. And let's get with it. So what are we going to do? We have acknowledged everyone. And by the way, if you're here and you're having some kind of, if you're celebrating some kind of milestone in the month of July, we want to celebrate with you, and we want to give you a shout out. So whether it's a birthday or anniversary.
So I'm going to say happy birthday to my sister Tanya.
Yes.
Who had a birthday
Yes.
On Monday, and my best friend, my girl Sheila, who had her birthday also on that day, on Monday the 22nd. So happy birthday to those people, and that's just the people that we know.
Yeah, we also want to give a shout out to our patron,
Virginia Carter, who had a birthday on yesterday.
Yes.
Happy birthday,
so happy
Virginia.
Birthday, Virginia. And
anyone else who had a birthday, happy birthday to you.
Or the birth of a child or a grandchild, or whatever.
An anniversary,
a
retirement.
Yes. A new relationship, whatever.
A goal completed.
Whatever. We just celebrate.
We celebrate you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's important to celebrate our wins.
We should.
We live in a society that, there's so much focus on what one hasn't achieved or the negativity that may be around us. And we just get drowned out in negativity. But we know that that's just an energy. And we can choose to be in an energy of recognition and celebration, right? Because it creates momentum. It creates emotions. And it sends that energy in motion, and it impacts how we think, how we feel, how we perceive.
It charges the environment around us.
So this is what we're about here. This is what truly is all about. Discovering who we are, first of all. We call it the real you, right? The real you that loves you, because the real you
is love.
That's
what truly stands for. The real you.
The real you loves you. Because we discovered early in our relationship, that's what we was really seeking after, to know ourselves. You know, the great poet or the anonymous poet, or it's written in many places, many writings. The great saying, "Know thyself."
Oh yes.
Right, right, and it was puzzling for thousands of years, uh, getting a clarity on what that really means. But if you are here in this present time and space, I'm sure you understand what it means to know yourself, because that is what we are here, first of all, to discover.
Yes.
Right. And so we call that self the real you, right? the real you that is love.
And if you don't know yourself, give us a call.
Yes. Hang around this environment, because
Hang out.
that's where we hang out at.
Hang out.
All right. So happy and grateful to be here. Gratitude is it's what Yolanda and I live by. We've learned to be grateful for the moment.
All things.
In all things.
Not for all things.
But in all things. If we would be grateful, then what it does, first of all, it brings us to and keep us in the present.
Yes.
To where we're not focusing on a past that doesn't exist anymore and having fear about our past, and we're not having anxiety about a future that has not even, we can't live into. So it's about staying in the present moment, and gratitude is one of the best ways to bring us and remind us and to reground us into the present moment by being grateful for where we are right now.
And it's a great practice to look for the good.
Yes.
In all things.
Absolutely, because that's what gratitude is.
That's right.
Because there is good in everything.
And if you want to test that, just look at a situation that you may have considered to be negative or bad, or it didn't turn out the way you wanted, and then look for what was good in that. And sometimes the good that's in that is the lesson that we learn.
Absolutely.
Because when we do not learn lessons, they come around again. The lesson will come around again.
And again.
But it comes around with more drama and more trauma.
And more intensity.
Yeah. So that's why it's important to learn the lessons.
Right. And we practice reframing this is one of the skill sets that is so vital to personal development.
Yes.
Learning how to reframe your experiences. Right.
So what does that mean? Let's quickly talk about what that means.
What it means is, a lot of times when we are challenged, or when we are in situations or circumstances or conditions that appear to be not in our best interest or not in alignment with what we desire, a lot of times in that moment,
especially things that we have labeled as bad or negative or tragic or devastating or whatever, all those negative words.
Right. A lot of times in that moment, we don't have clarity.
No.
And so our perception of it may be negative.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But over time, as we grow and expand in our awareness and in our understanding, right, eventually we can see the lesson. So there's a lesson in everything. That's the value. We can see the lesson that we've learned, right? So that
and sometimes the value is really great. I've given the example before of a car accident that one of our family members experienced, and it was what everyone was calling a bad car accident. And the first thing that we said was, we asked, are you injured? How are you? Are you okay? And they were like, I'm okay. And we were like, okay, that's step one, because we can get another car.
We can get another car. Yes.
And then, it was us seeing, folks going, and it could have been this, this could have happened. It could have been so bad. And there's just all these scenarios that were vocalized about these horrible things that could have happened. And none of those things happened.
Right.
So we were like, we are great. We are happy and grateful for what happened. We're happy and grateful that you are standing,
Right.
that you are in our car. We're going to take you to the hospital to get checked out, but we are happy and
Right.
grateful that you are here. So we were saying we're happy and grateful that all of those things were not the things that had materialized,
Right.
but it was just all this energy that was
Right.
poured into all the things that could have happened
Right.
that never did.
Right. And so when we say reframing, when you expand your awareness and look back at things in the present, you realize what you have gained positively from that experience, right? Because there's, like Yolanda said, there's good in everything.
Yeah.
It may not look good, may
They were-
not sound good,
yeah.
feel good, taste good in the moment, but there is good.
They were talking about the when we went over to get the rest of the things out of the car, the place that it was towed to, he was like, my condolences. And I said, well, I mean, it's just the car. And he was like, oh, there's no way anyone walked away from that. I said, 2 people walked away from that.
2 people walked out.
2
of that
people walked
accident.
away from
Yes.
that, and 2 people are healthy and whole. And the other thing that I thought about, I was like, I'm so happy and grateful that car did just what it was supposed to do. That roll bar kept everything from collapsing on and flattening. I mean, there was just so many things. There were so many things to be grateful for.
So
many
many
things.
And in your life, as you examine your life, in every experience, there is good. And sometimes the understanding of that is not present, but it's delayed.
Mm-hmm.
But when you realize the good that came out of seemingly bad situations, you have the ability to reframe that situation now.
Mm-hmm.
And reframing means you now look at it from a different perception,
Mm-hmm.
seeing the good, harvesting the good, and forgiving the rest.
That's
right? Harvesting the good, reframing. That is what reframing is. When you want to reframe something you saw in a bad light to a good light, what you've done is harvest the good out of the situation, and you forgave the rest.
You release the rest.
And you release the rest, because holding on to the rest only adds stress, unnecessary anxiety, and it holds us back from being in the present, right?
That's
And
right.
it becomes a distraction. So that's another skill set
That's a
in personal development, is learning to release and letting go.
And it's a practice that if we do it on a regular basis, it gets to the point that we don't have to expend a lot of energy to do that. It will become second nature.
Right.
So we can get to the point that we express that gratitude just as quickly as we create all of these scenarios that didn't happen. And
Yeah, because this temporary experience we're having here, you're not going to get through it without being challenged and having challenges. Or what's the word you use?
I said encounters.
Encounters,
Yeah.
right? The human experience is a journey of encounters, and all of us are going to deal with them. And how we deal with them is determined by the skill sets that we develop over time, the personal development, that in acquiring skills to help us navigate the encounters.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We can't extricate or remove the encounters, but we certainly can navigate them in such a way that even the encounters become fuel for strengthening us, right? For giving us resolve, for affirming us, right?
Yes.
And so when we take on this perspective of living, then we remove doubt and fear. Well, doubt and fear. We need to do a session on doubt and fear, right? But there's a lot of fear and there's a lot of doubt, right? Energy that's being released here in 2024, and people suffer needlessly and wander aimlessly because, like you said, a lack of knowledge. Knowledge meaning having the skill set, right, to navigate this thing called life. But I mean, we're going so many ways. There's so much I want to say, but we do have a focus message that we want to share tonight, a conversation that we want to have tonight. And it all ties into what we've already said, right?
Okay.
So we always like to start by introducing an inspirational quote. And would you like to read our quote for tonight?
Would you like for me to read the quote?
Yes.
All right.
And it will serve as a great lead into our conversation tonight.
All right. Quote, and do not follow the customs of the present age, but be transformed by the entire renewal of your minds, so that you may learn by experience what God's will is, that will which is good and beautiful and perfect. I'm going to repeat it. And do not follow the customs of the present age, but be transformed by the entire renewal of your minds, so that you may learn by experience what God's will is, that will which is good and beautiful and perfect. That's from Romans 12:12, and he
12
went 12:2. I apologize. And he went to the Weymouth New Testament.
Yes, that's the Weymouth New Testament translation. Because some of you are familiar with this particular passage of scripture that reads, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, so that you may prove what is that good, acceptable and perfect will of God is. But I love this translation because it's like amplifies that idea. And so this great lead into what we want to have a conversation about tonight. So our subject tonight has to do with how do we deal with these challenging times, right? How do we deal with, what's the word you use again? I like the word you use.
Encounters.
How do we deal with life encounters?
So, you know what, I keep, every time you say that, I think about the book that the children read, a series of unfortunate events. And so really life is just a series of events.
Right.
And what happens is, those events, we have experiences. And so life is just a series of experiences. They're experiences.
Right. And when we learn that the experiences are not there to define us.
No, not to define.
They're not there to define us. They're not there to stop us from growing, right? And they're not there to stop us from expressing, but they're just a part of the journey. And when we can learn how, again, to navigate the journey in such a way that we realize that all experiences, all things can eventually work together for our good.
Yes.
All things. Notice now. All things. And when we say all things can work together for our good, what we're saying is that every single solitary experience that you have ever had, every encounter you've ever had, every relationship, every success, every failure, seemingly failure, right? All of it can be utilized.
Which we reframe failures as just
feedback. It's just feedback, right, that we can use, right?
That's right.
So when we get up.
To inform us.
Keep going.
To inform us as to what our next steps or what our next response is going to be, or what, what our preparation is going to be.
And it helps us.
It's just feedback.
And it helps us turn away from what does not work to discover that which does work. And so everything, when you have the view that every everything in life can be used to expand your awareness, to make you a better navigator, right? And get you to a place of happiness and fulfillment because of your expanded awareness, your expanded understanding, and you become skillful, right, in living life.
That's right.
Become skillful in managing all the different parts of your life, whether it's personal, professional. You become a better caretaker of your this machine we call the body. You become
Or this vessel that we call a temple.
right. You become better at using your mental and your emotional capacities, right, to serve you in the best way.
Yeah.
Right. And so it says, do not follow the customs of this present age, because a lot of the results we see in this world and in life that doesn't appear to be loving, those results, those outcomes are just it's just feedback, and it is a mirror to share with us, not this, right? That whatever we was doing to get us to those outcomes, right? If we continue to do it, it's going to continue to produce the same outcome.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
And so then those things serve as a as a pointer to point us away from what doesn't serve us and point us to the things in life that do serve us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we're not to follow the present customs of this age, the ideas, the ways of being and doing and thinking, right? That does not produce the results that we desire, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And so the focus is on the mind, because the mind is the center of the creative process. The mind is the almost like the hub that is determining the results and the outcomes in our life.
That's right.
And we know that the activity of the mind is thinking,
That's right.
and that thoughts are creative.
Our thinking makes it so.
Our thinking makes it so. It's true. And so when we don't understand the mind and the activities of the mind, then we misuse and abuse what has been given to us as a gift to be creative, right? Because it is our nature. It's the nature of who we are as love, to be creative. Just like our source, just like our creator. We are creative beings. Human beings are creative beings. Very powerful beings, right? And the mind is a mechanism that we all have that is to be used for that creative process. And the more we understand this, and if you hang around us, you'll hear us talk about mindfulness and mindset, because
and your superpowers.
and your superpowers,
we all have them.
Yeah, because we understand through our own experience and through our
and our thinking is one of our superpowers.
That's right. Our thinking is one of our superpowers,
and our intuition is another one of our superpowers that that is underutilized,
right, or used against us.
Mm-hmm.
Our memory,
yeah,
our intuition.
Mm-hmm.
You want to name some more superpowers?
Oh, absolutely. Our will. Did you say that?
Yeah. Yeah. Our will. The fact that we can make a decision and act on that decision. That's a will, and no one can take that from you. Right?
Our reason,
our ability to use, intellectual and logical thinking and deductive reasoning, right, to come to conclusions through elimination, right, in order for us to take action that is going to bless us.
That's
and
right.
bless the world around us.
That's right. Our perception.
And our perception. How do we interpret things? Yeah. What are we using for the basis of our interpretation?
Yeah.
Right. That's why we say here all the time that knowing who you are is so important. Knowing the real you. is so important because we're always coming from some place.
Yes.
Either we're coming from a place of love, which is who we all are, or we're coming from a place of fear, right? And when we come from a place of love, we get the thing that love produces.
That's
We get the
right.
outcomes of love. When we come from a place of fear, then we begin to get outcomes that comes from a place of fear that is that we find ourselves in places of guilt and judgment, and we have perceptions about ourselves that are not true,
Yes.
right?
That's right.
But those perceptions that are not true, if practiced, will produce experiences in our life that are not loving.
That's right.
And we've all experienced that, right? Whether out of ignorance or out of knowing. So
Another superpower is something that we used a lot when we were young, imagination.
imagination, right? And
We call them superpower. I mean, they're mental faculties.
Right.
They're gifts that all of us have been given, and we can, when we develop these faculties, then we find that the creativity just flows. So
absolutely,
much.
and we develop a mental strength.
Yes.
So that we are prepared for those.
We develop mental muscles.
Mental muscles. So that we are prepared for, what's the word again? Encounters, right? That we're going to encounter. So it's very important that we come to an awareness of all of these gifts that we've all been given. Yeah. All of us have these gifts. All of us have these superpowers. So
those mental faculties that we're calling superpowers are intuition. Memory.
Intuition means we have an inner sense. It's almost like a sixth sense that we get a hunch or a knowing, an inner knowing about something, right? It's not coming from our intellect, but it comes from
the inner teacher that is in all of us.
The inner teacher that's in all of us, right?
That's right.
Our inner guide.
Yeah. So it's the inner teacher that's in all of us. So that intuition, memory.
And see, boy, that's a whole subject we need to do a conversation around, because there's so much abuse in using memory to self-sabotage our lives. I mean, I was stuck there. I was stuck there most of my early teenage and young adult life. Yeah. And it absolutely created havoc and hardship in my life, not understanding the purpose for memory. It is not for us to hold on to grievances. It's not for us to wallow into guilt. It's not, our memory is not for that. It's not for us to be constantly looking into the past to the point that we have no awareness of the present moment. Mm-hmm. Our memory is not for us to get into self-judgment, where we judge ourselves unfairly, right?
And harshly.
Or where we judge others harshly or unfairly.
Well, if we are judging others harshly and unfairly, it's because we're judging ourselves.
It's because that's the way we perceive ourselves. Yes. So we're using our perception so the perception is being misused.
So perception is one of those.
So we have to do a series on the 6 mental faculties, our 6 mental gifts, our 6 superpowers.
Let's finish saying them. So we've already said intuition,
memory,
reason, perception, will, and imagination.
Those, all of us have those gifts. But when we haven't been taught or trained or realized of what they are and how to develop them, we actually use them against ourselves, and we see it on so many levels.
So when we develop those, we are developing mental muscles.
We're developing mental strength,
which will help us in not just challenging times, it'll help us in all times. Right?
And so, did I finish here? So
no.
Let me finish this. So it says, so we do not follow the customs of the present world. And one of the customs is not knowing. The biggest custom is that we follow not knowing. And when we don't know, we just gravitate to any idea that thinking that it will get us right to the place that we desire. And just because the majority is performing a particular custom or idea doesn't mean that it is in your best interest or in our best interest. And
And just because a lot of people believe or attach themselves to a thought doesn't mean that it's a thought that's good. There used to be a saying when we were little, when we were coming up, that everything that shines is not gold.
right, absolutely. So it said we don't follow the customs, but we transform ourself by the renewal of our mind. And so that is the work we've been called to do, is the renewing of the mind. In other words, mind training, mind training, mind training. And a lot of us haven't had the proper mind training that is required, right, to live victoriously in this world. And when we don't have the proper training, it's like a child. If you don't train a child, right, we're actually training the child
Mm-hmm.
to put themselves in a position to be hurt, right,
Mm-hmm.
And not to experience the good that is in life for all of us. So training is so essential to the mind, and that's our responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
It was my response when I discovered this, right, because it was my mind that had put me in a place of guilt and judgment and shame, and seeing myself having an image about who I was that was totally anti-love, antithetical to that which is, yeah, I said it, antithetical to
Okay,
that
now.
which is, like it says here, to that which is good and beautiful and perfect. Because here it says, once we renew the mind, it said the purpose for renewing the mind is that we may have the life experience that is good and beautiful and perfect. Yep. To learn by experience,
Mm-hmm.
to have the lived experience of it. Because it's one thing just to have knowledge, sense knowledge of it, but it's another thing to experience this. It's another thing to experience love. We can talk about love. We can define love. We can do all these things with the idea of love. But in reality, love can only be experienced. And when we experience it, it is good, it is beautiful, and it is perfect.
It's like people who have not had children and they have so many ideas, and they know exactly what to do, and they just have all these viewpoints, and they vocalize them.
Yes.
They're experts
Yes.
at raising children, and then they have a child.
Yes.
And what they did not foresee was that child was going to come here with a will,
With a will, with intuition,
with intuition,
with perception,
with reason,
with reason,
which is kind of undeveloped at that
Yes.
point, with will and with imagination and with its own intuition.
with his own
And so
intuition.
that child, is deciding for some things for themselves is contrary to what now this the parent
Yes.
who had all these grand ideas, then you see, what you think is what you think, but that child is going to determine a whole lot of stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
So
Absolutely. So this is where we're going to introduce the subject for tonight, and we're absolutely going to have to do this in a couple of parts, maybe even 3 parts. But we're going to start tonight by just introducing the conversation around how do we develop mental strength, or
mental
why
muscles.
mental muscles, or why it is important to develop mental strength. Right? The word develop, meaning it does not, mental strength is not given, but it is developed. But everything that we need, everything that we require to develop mental strength, we already have.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of it is in the form of those 6 superpowers that we talked about, right? And so in the development of mental strength, we become more confident. We become more certain about who we are. We become
We have clarity of
we have
vision.
clarity of vision,
Yes.
and we are able to navigate our life, right, in such a way that it
With far more
with,
ease
with
and
far
with
more
peace.
ease and peace.
Yes.
Not to say that that we're not going to, what's the word again?
Encounter.
Have encounters. Doesn't remove the encounters, right? But it will make us makes us better navigators of our life, and we're able to handle all the things along the way. And there are 3 steps that we're going to talk about in this series that we believe that our steps are proven steps to help all of us to develop this mental strength or this mental muscle, right? I've been hanging out at the gym for the last 7 months, right? And
he has developed some muscles.
It didn't happen in 1 week or 1 month or 3 months.
It certainly didn't happen after one visit.
It didn't happen after one visit.
No.
But as I was consistent,
yes,
right, in going to the gym and giving some time to developing flexibility and developing the muscle that I still have, even after 65 years of being on this planet, this body began to give me results and outcomes that shocked me. And just like
the commercial said, and she'll like it too.
And she'll like it too. Yeah.
Don't forget to do the wink.
Yeah.
And
she'll like it too.
I think it's so.
And so the 3 steps that we want to share in this conversation on developing mental strength and mental muscles, we're just going to introduce them tonight. Can't get into them as our time is just about up, but we're going to introduce them.
Well, we did a lot of. You did a lot of teaching, just not the way that you had it on your paper.
Right, but we prepped it, and we kind of set this thing up, right? And so, what are those 3 steps? So, step number 1, you may want to write this down: forgiveness. If you're going to develop mental strength, forgiveness has to become your daily practice. Because if you are,
keep going.
There you go, right there. All right. I don't want to hit the wrong button because we'll cut this thing off without even saying goodbye. We don't want to do that. So, step number 1 in developing mental strength or mental muscles is practicing forgiveness. And that entails a whole gamut of things. I mean, that might take 2 or 3 sessions for us to talk about the importance of forgiveness and how that relate to the development process of being mentally strong, right? Being mentally strong. It comes through the practice of forgiveness, which is practicing having compassion on yourself. It's about letting go of the things that don't serve you, letting go of your past, right? How to dissolve guilt in your life and self-judgment. All of these things. There's so many things that's involved with that. Step number 2 in developing mental strength, it involves building a support network. Building a support network. And we're going to get into some of the details of how to build a support network. There are so many people that are living in isolation. So many people are living in isolation. And what we have discovered is isolation leads to sickness, right? Because we are creatures that are designed to commune, right? And to be in community. And when we're not in community, when we have not built a support network around us, we become weak, we become feeble, and we become undernourished, right? And so we don't fare very well with challenges. And
Well, the same way that it is difficult to build physical muscles if you're malnourished,
right,
then you'll have that same it's the same process. You will it's going to be far more difficult to develop those mental muscles when you're malnourished.
Right, absolutely.
There as well.
So many people in personal and professional, their personal and professional encounter, they isolate themselves, right? Become the Lone Ranger or become the island unto themselves. And we're not designed that way. We are designed for community. We're designed to commune one with another. That's how we draw strength. That's how we become mentally strong.
Yes.
Through building a support network. So we're going to get into that. And in that, we're going to be talking about core values, because that's the first thing one needs to establish in their network. It's, what are your core values? What do you stand for? What do you believe in? And we're going to get into how that helps build and develop mental strength, right? So that you're strong mentally. So that's number 2. And then the third step in developing mental strength, or mental muscles, like Yolanda say, is developing resilience through healthy habits, or through our habits. So forgiveness, support, and healthy habits. These are just 3, but there are so many more areas that we're going to talk about that will help you build and develop your mental strength, your mental muscles, so that as you face life, and you're going to face it, even if you decide to lay in the bed and pull the covers over your head, you're still facing life. And you're still going to get outcomes and results.
And you get the results.
You may not like it, right?
You're going to get the results for what you decided for.
Absolutely.
You decided to stay in bed with covers pulled over your head.
Absolutely.
So you'll get the results of staying in bed with covers over your head.
Right. So whether personal, whether family, because all of us are a part of some family.
Relationships.
Right.
So
whether we're talking about community, all of us are part of some community, or whether we're talking about a nation of people, all of us are part of some nation. We live in some nation, right? We don't live just up in this space, but we live in a nation, right? Or whether we're talking about the global community, the world in which we live in. On all these different levels, we are always approaching life and having to deal or navigate with life, the terrain, right? We do not get to check out, but we get to participate in this process called life. Yes. And so these are the things that's going to help us be strong mentally, because it said here now, we said it here, right here in our inspirational quote, that it is through the renewal of the mind, right? Through these, and we use these practices to renew the mind so that we can experience what is that good and beautiful and perfect will of our Father, of love, of our Creator. And so we're going to get into that in our future episodes. And so come on back and be with us, because these things will benefit you. It benefited us. So a lot of things we share here is the things that we practice, and we have seen the results and the outcome, right? And so we know that they work because they're universal laws, they're universal principles, and we are here to share them with you. And we're out of time, so we'll stick a pin in it.
Well, we are so excited and we're happy and grateful that you decided to spend some time with us. So what we like to do is we like to say a blessing. And so we bless all of you who've joined with us, and then all of those who are near and dear in your heart.
So may you be truly happy.
May you live in peace.
May you live in love.
May you know the power of forgiveness.
And may you live in the recognition that your life has deep meaning and good purpose.
That's the Dalai Lama's loving kindness meditation that we say is a blessing. And Oliver and I add to that, may you live in the awareness of who you truly are. We extend this blessing to every being on the planet. And so it is.
And so it is. All right. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, everyone. And we just bless you and pray that you begin to expand your awareness of that good, perfect, beautiful will, so that you can enjoy the beauties of life. And with that said, I'm Oliver.
I'm Yolanda.
And together we are the OK Blues.
Your sweet love away, but you stay right here beside me, never letting me go. Now I know the love I needed was right here all along. I know that love to forgive all the hurt and pain. Love is enough to remove all you can change. Love is enough to make up for what remains. I know that love is enough. God's love is enough. God's love is enough. God's love is